Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer hit the campaign trail for Kamala Harris in New Hampshire last week. We spoke one-on-one with her in Nashua. Governor, in this race, those swing states are so important. Does Kamala Harris have a better chance of winning your home state of Michigan than President Joe Biden did?
I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing in Michigan and across the country is a renewed enthusiasm. We are seeing people calling to volunteer where it was hard to get people to come in. We're seeing fundraising numbers go up. So I believe that we are going to be very competitive in all of the swing states. I also know that we can't take anything for granted, and that's why showing up, earning people's support, it's what the Vice President has talked about in her quest to become president, and it's what we all are seeing on the ground as well. We're going to earn it. She's going to earn it. But ultimately, I do think that people are going to see the stark choice in front of us November 5th and vote for the person that is fighting for our freedom.
Is the Dobbs decision going to be the same motivator that it was in 2022? Obviously, we're a little bit farther out in terms of time.
I think so. You know, you look at here in New Hampshire, the Republicans on the ground keep putting forward policies to roll back reproductive rights. We're seeing that's what Republicans are fighting for in Michigan and at the national level. So I do believe even in states where we have secured this right, the prospect of a national ban or additional appointments to the United States Supreme Court is very real and could undermine the rights that we think we can count on, whether you're in New Hampshire or you're in Massachusetts or you're in Michigan for that matter.
To get the job done in terms of passing national protections for abortion, should Democrats consider ending the filibuster?
You know, I am not a Washington person. I am the governor of a great state and proud of it. I will leave the strategy in D.C. to the folks from D.C.
What about, the idea of abortion being legal for elective purposes, all the way through the third trimester? Is that really a winning issue to you?
Well, I think that the way that people are categorizing abortion policy is just trying to mislead and scare the heck out of people. We heard Donald Trump say that Democrats support abortion after birth. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Give me a break. The vast majority of people who need abortion care are in the first trimester. It is a tragedy the longer the pregnancy goes on. It's not a situation anyone wants at that late stage. But if it is about the life of the woman or it is about the inability for the fetus to actually be healthy and live a life, then that is a decision that should be made by the woman and not by government.
What do you think about these comments from J.D. Vance about childless women? Do you think that's making an impact right now?
I think it's probably going to inspire a lot of women to get out and vote against him.
You said you want to be back someday. Are we going to see her running for president eventually?
I was not talking about a future campaign. I was talking about coming back and enjoying the beautiful state of New Hampshire.
And do you want to be vice president?
No, I have made a commitment to fulfill my term as governor in Michigan, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think I can be a great ally to a President Harris from the ground as the governor of Michigan.
Governor, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
That'll do it for Close Up. Have a great Sunday.